Welcome to Stark Designs, and today I want to show you how to create a screwdriver and a light bulb in Inkscape using basic shapes. But before we begin, I would like to ask that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. Okay, so what I want you to start by doing is grab the rectangle tool and hold Shift and Control and drag out and draw a perfect rectangle onto your canvas. Stop when you are satisfied with the rectangle. Then grab the selection tool, click on the rectangle, hold Control and click D to duplicate. Then change the color of the duplicate and drag it a quarter of the way from the top. Then I want you to go to Path and select Object to Path. Then I want you to grab your Nodes tool, turn on Transformation Handles, and then I want you to select the two left nodes and add a node to selected segments and do that on the right side too. And then select the two middle nodes and using the transformation handles, drag them out by holding Shift and Control and drag out the two middle nodes. And then after that, go back to the selection tool, select both the now hexagon-like shape and the rectangle, select both of them, and then go to Path and Union to turn them into one path and one object. Then I want you to go to Path and click on Path Effects while you click make sure that you have selected the object. Then the path effect we're going to use is the corners path effect. So I want you to go and click on the corners path effect to activate it. The corners path effect we're going to be using is the chamfer effect. So click on chamfer and select your nodes tool. Then I want you to select the two bottom nodes and then drag them in to make the corners of to make the edges more flat of it. Then I want you to select your selector tool and select the object. Move it down to the screen because now we're going to create the metal part of the screwdriver. So I want you to select your rectangle tool and draw out a very skinny rectangle. Don't hold in Shift on Control when drawing this time because we want to be able to make the piece more skinny and more flat. Stop when you are satisfied with how the piece looks compared to the grip parts of the screwdriver. And then what I want you to do if you're satisfied now is I want you to click Control Shift A to open the Align and Distribute menu, and I want you to select both objects, set the relative to last selected, and align them on the vertical axis. Make sure they're on the same vertical axis. Align them. Then I want you to select the rectangle, then Path, Object to Path. Then I want you to press Control D while selecting the rectangle and duplicate it. Select the duplicate and change it to another color. And again, we're going to drag the duplicate a quarter away to the top. Then I want you to do the same thing. Go to Path and click Object to Path. Then I want you to select your nodes tool, select the two left nodes and add a node in the middle. Select the two right nodes, add a node in the middle. Then select the two middle nodes. Make sure you see the drag out of your transformation handles. In this part, I was having trouble with the transformation handles, but I ended up getting it. Then I want you to drag out those two nodes and move them to the bottom, so it looks more of like the front of a flat screwdriver, of a flathead. So drag it out until you're satisfied. And basically that's how you create a screwdriver in Inkscape. But I'm still gonna just take some time to make it better and to polish it so the screwdriver looks more polished. So I'm just gonna fast forward to the end. And then to give a little bit more life to the screwdriver, I want you to select your rectangle tool, draw out a rectangle, a very skinny one, and then what I want you to do is to place it in the middle of the grip part of the rectangle, and then what I want you to do is to move it to the left and center it, and center its right edges to the middle of the grippy part of the shape. Duplicate it and do that too on the right side, so that way we can create some depth by using those rectangles to illustrate the grippy parts of it. And once you're finished creating, just select everything and then go to the Path tab and Union to make everything one object. That we're done with the screwdriver, let's move on to the light bulb. So what I want you to do is create a new document first. So what I want you to start by doing is grabbing your ellipse tool, or press E and then hold Shift and Control to drag out and draw a perfect circle. Then I want you to take the circle to the middle of your page. You can use the Align and Distribute menu to center it on the vertical and horizontal axis, but make sure the relative to is set to page. And what I want you to do is to grab your rectangle tool. Don't hold Shift and Control, just create a square. Take that square and I want you to put it in the middle of the circle. Place the square so that half of it and more than most of it is sticking out from the circle. And what I want you to do is to select the square and the circle and center them on the vertical axis. And I want you, like I said, to place the square so most of it is sticking out of the circle. And I want you to make it to play with the size until you're satisfied. And then once it looks like that, I want you to select the circle. Make sure that everything is lined up. And now what I want you to do is to select the square and the circle, go to Path and Object to Path. Then I want you to select the square, grab your nodes tool, turn on transformation handles and select both of the bottom nodes, hold Shift and Control and drag them in. Drag them in so they create kind of a base like figure. Play around with the size of it, dragging it in, dragging it out until you're satisfied. And I want you to grab your selection tool. Play around with the size of it so that the base looks equal to how big the circle is. And then if you have changed it around, I want you to ensure that it's centered up on the vertical axis. So I want you to select both of them, Align and Distribute menu, relative to last selected, and center it on the vertical axis. Then I want you to grab your selection tool, select both the circle and the square, Path tab, Union, and then select your nodes tool again. Select the two bottom nodes. Then I want you to enable Add Corners LPE. Enable Add Corners LPE. Then I want you to select those two nodes, the second last from the top, select both of them. Then using Add Corners LPE, I want you to round out the edges, not the edges, the corners from the circle to the square. I want you to round them out using the Add Corners LPE and select both of them so what it does on the right side it will do on the left. No need to add these grids. I was just being very paranoid about if they're perpendicular, if they're right. But if you have followed the steps thus far, word to word, bar for bar, then everything should be fine. Then I want you to select the two bottom nodes. Then still using the Add Corners LPE, I want you to round out the bottom of the square. So you see you get a more rounded out figure. We're getting closer to what we want. And then still with the nodes tool, I want you to click object to path. Then I want you to create a square using the rectangle tool. Select the selection tool, move the square a bit further from the, because we're going to do two different things with it. Then what I want you to do is to set the opacity of the square lower. Set it to 50, like I set it to 50. Then what I want you to do is to grab the ellipse tool. Grab your ellipse tool. But first, what I want you, before you grab your ellipse tool, I almost forgot. What I want you to ensure is that you press the lock using the selection tool. Make sure that the width and height are locked. And then I want you to round the width and height, the width to a rounded out number. So I used 75 for the width, and that will make it 75 for the height because it's a perfect square. Then take your ellipse tool, and then still, while the width and height are locked, I want you to create a perfect circle by holding Shift and Control. Then using the selection tool in that menu, I want you to round off, to set the width to a rounded off number. I'm going to use 75 again, same as the circle, same as the square I mean. And then select the circle and the square, align and distribute menu, Shift Control A to pull it up, and set the relative to last selected. Then I want you to center them on the vertical and horizontal axis. Make sure they're centered on both axes. Make sure they're both centered. Then what I want you to do is to grab the shape builder tool. I don't know why it wasn't working at first, but so the reason it wasn't working is because what I had created was not a perfect circle. So in the ellipse tool menu, make sure that you click on the circle. And then when you use your shape builder tool, ensure that you drag the object as one object and not as two different objects. And now what I want you to do is to grab your Bezier tool, and then using your Bezier tool, I want you to draw a stroke going from the one LED tube to the other. Make sure snapping is turned on so you can snap to cast node. And then do that again, one going from the bottom right to the bottom. Make sure it's in a straight line and snap there, click enter. And again, snap there and click enter. And then after you're done, what I want you to do is to select all of the nodes and go to the path tab and click union. But before you do that, you might need to go to the path tab and set them path to stroke. Click path in the path tab, stroke to path. Stroke to path. Then I want you to grab all of them. Then go to the path tab and then union. Then after that, I want you to click the tube thing while also clicking the select everything. Then I want you, but first, before we do that, we have to click all the tubes. Then I want you to make them one, and then click the bulby part of the light bulb, and then click difference. Then I want you to grab your nodes tool, select add corners LPE, and then select the 4 middle nodes. Select the 4 middle nodes. And then using the add corners LPE, round out the corners of the 4 middle nodes so they're more round. And now what I want you to do is to grab the rectangle tool, and using the rectangle tool, I want you to draw a rectangle at the bottom of the bulb. But make sure that it is a fill and not a stroke. We need a fill. So make sure it is a fill, then turn it to the color black as I did here. The color is not important. It's just so you know that it's part of the object. And what I want you to do, select it and grab the rectangle tool or the node tool and round out so it's a rounded rectangle instead of just a rectangle. And I want you to make the width smaller. Make sure that it reaches from corner to corner of the bottom part of the bulb. Make sure that the width is smaller. Then I want you to center it and the bulb on the vertical axis. But first adjust the width of it until you are satisfied. Now what I want you to do is to, using the selection tool, select the rectangle and then press Ctrl D to duplicate. Duplicate it, then using hold Ctrl and then drag it down under the first rectangle. Then I want you to press Shift and then drag it out from the side so it goes in. It's going to shift it proportionally so it's still on the vertical axis. Then I want you to do the same thing. Select Ctrl D to duplicate, hold Ctrl and drag it down so that it's still on the vertical axis. Then I want you to grab all 3 of them and grab the bulb. Then I want you to center all of them on the vertical axis. Then go to the distribute menu and click ensure that they have even vertical gaps. So each vertical gap is proportionate to the next, so they're all equal with how big the gaps are. And I just want you to create a last one and make it smaller than the other one. And what I want you to do is to click it, select object to path. Now I want you to click all of its nodes, make selected nodes corners, then select the 2 top nodes. Then I want you to click delete. Then I want you to take the top part of the nodes, hold Ctrl and drag it down. And then do so on the right side as well. So that now we have half a rectangle. Then I want you to take the half rectangle, move it up so that it is closer to the other rectangles. And I want you to select all 3 of them again. In the align and distribute menu, center on vertical axis, then even vertical gaps. Make sure that the vertical gaps are even. Then what I want you to do is to grab the rectangle tool, draw a rectangle in the middle. In the rectangle options tool, make sure you click sharp corners so that it goes back to making sharp corners. Then I want you to scale the rectangle until you're satisfied. Then make sure only a bit of the rectangle is still inside the shape. Most of it is sticking out. And what I want you to do is grab both the rectangle and the half, the square and the half rectangle, center them on the vertical axis. Then what I want you to do, grab the square with the selection tool, go to path, object to path, grab the nodes tool, make sure transformation handles are on, select the two bottom nodes, and then hold Control and Shift and drag them in. Drag them in. Then I want you to select the two bottom nodes, add corners LPE, select both bottom nodes, so what it does on the right side it will do on the left. Then I want you to drag it in so that the corners are more rounded using the add corners LPE. Then after you're done doing that, I want you to scale it, make it bigger and smaller until you're satisfied. Center on the vertical axis. Then if you're satisfied with how it looks, select both the half rectangle and that square that you have just now modified. Go to the Path tab and click Union to make it one object. And then that is how you make the light bulb. Then for the finish, just select everything. Make sure that everything is selected. Go to the Path tab and you can click Union to make it all one object. Or instead of clicking Union, you can group it. Because if you click Union, you must ensure everything that you turn everything that is a fill, you turn it. If everything is a fill, everything has to be a fill for you to unionize it. If everything is a stroke, everything has to be a stroke for you to unionize it. So you can just click it, go object to path, then you can just say group. You can group it all together just so it can move as one object. And then what we can do to ensure that we show them it's a light bulb, and for this idea I would like to shout out Logos by Nick, because he's the one I saw this off his channel how to actually do this. So I want you to grab the Bezier tool and draw a stroke, but make sure that the stroke is in the middle, is centered on the vertical axis of the bulb. And I want you to make it smaller so that you're satisfied with the size. What I want you to do is then select it and press Ctrl D, duplicate the stroke that is on top, take the duplicate, hold Control, move the duplicate to the bottom of the piece. Move the duplicate to the bottom. And I want you to select both of them. Then I want you to say group them together. And then what we're going to do is turn on the rotation handles on the object. Then I want you to hold Control and Shift so that it rotates them at an angle. So when you feel it snap in, you can press the space button to duplicate, then rotate, space button, duplicate, rotate, space button, duplicate, rotate, space button, duplicate. And we're going to do that until we go around the whole shape. So to duplicate, you have to make sure Control and the space button holding control, click the space button. But to rotate them at an angle, you have to hold control and shift. So just do that until you have gone around the whole shape. And what I want you to do is to click the ones that are touching the shape and delete those ones by selecting them and just pressing delete. Using the notes tool, you can select them even though they are in a group and press delete. I'm also going to delete the two at the sides that are touching the shape. And after you're satisfied with every object, what I want you to do is to click all of the objects one by one. Click all of the strokes one by one. Make sure that all of them are selected. To select multiple objects, hold Shift and then select them. Make sure that each of them are selected. Then after all of them are selected, Path tab, then click Combine. And after you click Combine, grab the Nodes tool, and then I want you to click the top of every second node. So as you see, I click the top of one, skip the next one, click the other, skip one, click the other, skip one, click the other. I want you to do this along with me, but click the top of the node, don't click the bottom, click the top of the node. Then after you've clicked the top of every node, I want you to make sure that transformation handles are turned on, then hold Control Shift and then pull in the transformation handles so that it makes the strokes smaller. Adjust them until you're satisfied. Where there's double strokes, I want you to just go there with your Nodes tool and delete the stroke altogether, because I may have clicked twice somewhere. And then that's it. Then you just grab your tool and turn it black so that it matches in with the rest of the design. And that's how you create a light bulb using basic shapes in Inkscape. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.